So the question is how the sessions works, and is there something that happening behind the scene that you don't see or don't understand? I tend to explain these things so you can watch the videos first and understand how the sessions are running and what it entails, so that we don't need to spend time explaining these things in the session. That's why I encourage to watch the videos. The first thing is what I need to receive from you is a clear mandate. What do you want to work on? Your name, age, and that's basically it. What I do is I use a technique that is called the opening the Crystar field. The Crystar platform is a creation platform that we all manifest through it to this time matrix. Just imagine a teardrop, and the Crystar platform would be on the top, and everything that exists in the teardrop, all the universes, all the timelines, all the probabilities, everything exists within this teardrop, but it had to come in as its essence through the Crystar platform. So that's the highest level that I so far noticed I could bring my clients to and work with. I tried even higher levels, but it didn't work, and the lower levels makes no sense because we want to work on the highest possible level where our higher authentic eternal selves can meet and co-create. So I open this platform. Sometimes happens before the video, or if this is the first video, I would probably do it on the video or with a client. Otherwise, if this is one of the videos in the row, I wouldn't do that on the video because it would just consume time, and the thing would happen already. Or I don't know. It depends how I feel at that time. Maybe it's important for you to be consciously pulled out and up to that level, and then I would do it. Usually when I do that live, do live sessions with you one-on-one online, then you would see me doing that. Not necessarily. However, this is the first step that I do, and when I am standing in that flame, I invite your higher self to come to that plane. We put our palms together, but we don't touch. We never touch. We just stay in our own fields, and that's very important for your and mine protection. We call it lone harmonic. You stay in lone harmonic. I stay in my own lone harmonic for my own protection. On that level, we established agreement between the higher selves to resolve the mandate. And of course, the mandate goes beyond to look for the root causes, whatever they are, for that particular challenge. And that challenge might be just a superficial outpicturing of another challenge that exists underneath, that it's not yet surfaced to the conscious level, or it surfaced at some point, but it's outpicturing itself as a different kind of a challenge. So sometimes you'll see or notice that in my sessions we're going through like in a labyrinth, just and going down one branch and exploring, then come back to the stem or the trunk of the root, to the root cause. It's really interesting how sometimes we have to go around to resolve certain obstacles in between in order to get down to the root cause and release whatever needs to be released. So this might be confusing, and I might be using language or certain sound tones, pictures, depends, throughout the session to facilitate this energy flows and releases. And also sometimes I would ask you to repeat those sound tones or do certain techniques with me so that we facilitate the flows and the clearings or cleansing, alignments, harmonization of things together. So this is all what you can expect in the session. Then during the session I usually make notes, because I'm so into this information that sometimes I tend to forget what I've said earlier, because it's just a flow. It's not something that I know. It's just something that flows. and the information that I receive through my higher senses. I'm not sure, not all of the people knows that we have more than 5 senses. We have 12 senses. Some of them are active, some of them are passive, some of them can be activated, and they're activating through time as we evolve as species, and as the frequency capacity, our frequency capacity allows us for, depends on our activated DNA strands and so forth. But the higher senses could be easily understood if you know a little bit about controlled remote viewing. That is a scientific method that has been developed by Stanford University Institute to gather non-local information. And it's a really interesting method that has been developed in 70s to mainly do the espionage, the Americans spying over the Russians. And recently this is probably still used. They said that after 20 some years they stopped using it, but it's probably still used for different purposes. However, the person that is doing the remote viewing only receives the code. That's why I don't need to know anything about you. Less I know, the better. Mainly, sometimes, even if you just tell me, okay, the main challenge, I want you to work on main challenge, and if you know the main challenge yourself, that's fine too. You don't have to share actually anything with me if you don't want to. Just give me the mandate that I have the capacity to work as your proxy, and then to enter your information field with my higher self and your higher self, so that your higher self does the necessary adjustments when your conscious mind is not on the way, standing on the way. Then during the session I make notes in order to qualify and quantify the data received, and also to track the progress that we have made throughout the session. For instance, if you come to a session with a problem, I have so many colds every year and I want to resolve this. So I would reformulate that question as, okay, you are prone to viral infection, respiratory viral infections. Then I would try to quantify that by, okay, what's the level of, how prone you are on the level of 1 to 100. If 100 is very prone and 1 would be, I'm not prone at all. And we would get, for instance, 60%, which means that in 60% of time you'll get the virus, or that the likability of you getting an infection is pretty high. We want to find the root cause. It could be a trapped emotion, misalignment. It could be something from your ancestral line, something that happened in your life, like an event, and then that event is trapped. Or it's just you need to shift your perspective, your awareness into a different kind of awareness, and you'll start running different type of flows within the body, and the viruses would have no place to get hold on and to evolve within your respiratory system. And also we have to look into what the respiratory system is all about in the first place. So as we progress, we then check. We, let's say, harmonize, clear, adjust certain things, and we check again. Okay, what's the level now? It was 60 before. Oh, it went down to 35. Wow, that was a big jump, which is great. We already have some. We are still prone to infectious diseases, but now it's not 60%, it's 35%. And of course, if that's fine with you, we can stop there. If you want to dig more, we can dig more and find other underlaid reason or connected reason, related reasons that are still keeping that percentage up to 35. Then when we resolve the next stage, it might go down to, I don't know, 20 or 33. So we would probably need to uncover more and more and more of the root causes that are co-creating in a combination together the effect that you're having and that you want to resolve. So this is what I'm writing down here, and I usually communicate that over the video as well, because it's important for you to track that change and the progress. Then at the end of every session, in the session, I make the health disclaimer. I'm not a health professional, and it's important that you take responsibility for your health, your well-being, your life. I am here just facilitating, bringing down the information for you to assist you to understand better where you need to act, or where you need to do something. If you need to do something, certain things will be resolved, might resolve on themselves, by themselves. Sometimes you need to take action too, but it's on you. This is just a recommendation. It's information for you to make your own informed choice. And of course, feel free always to consult a medical health professional for, in particular, if you have a chronic something, taking medication, if you're pregnant, if you're have any kind of conditions, it's your responsibility. So I always make that disclaimer. It's on my website. It's important for you to know your life is your responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. Your well-being is your responsibility, only yours. Sometimes circumstances around us, people around us, choices we've made in the past, events that we've experienced, kind of shapes us in a way that it makes difficult to exercise free will choice. But that's just imaginary. Regardless how real it feels, it's just something we tend to imagine. We still have our free will choice. And in the sessions, I might use some sort of coaching approaches to assist you to go through certain things, in particular if we have a live session. When we have a live session, there is more interactions between us and than it is when I'm doing the session and record it for you. Both sessions have a very strong validation. One allows me to be in the flow and just do things, and the other one brings more of the interaction. I can also clarify for you and to you certain information that might be out of the blue for you, or you're not used to it, or you're not understanding it because it's just not something that you would do on day-to-day basis, or studying or being exposed to. At the end of every session, I would close by disconnecting from the information field, your information field, because I have to move on. I have to move on with my life. I have to move on into another session, and I want to clear that. So I would do a probably energy technique myself to clear, cleanse, harmonize my fields again, so that I am not affected in any way with the previous session. That's my responsibility towards myself and also towards my next client. So these are broadly the things that are happening in the session. Beside what is interesting to some people, the information that comes out can be overwhelming. It's not that it's something wrong with you when I say, liver, this, that, whatever, or it's on the level of your right side of the brain or the eye or whatever. No, don't go into it like, oh my gosh, what does that mean? I received this information to bring it up to the surface, to the conscious mind, to understand better. When we bring understanding, we bring clarity, and we allow for misinterpretations, misperceptions, limited beliefs to leave, to let them go, and allow for the flow. Because those limited beliefs are usually like frozen cubes somewhere in our energetic system that then I'll picture as a different kind of a problem in everyday life. So at the end, disconnection, and I would also suggest you to intend the same, to disconnect. If you have further questions, of course, you can contact me, or we can talk about, I prefer that we talk about the questions you might have about a previous session, or in general that arise from the session, viewing the session or the previous session, that we talk about in a live session, one-on-one. It's easier for me to understand what your question is, and also I put myself back into that field with you. Otherwise, if I work with different people on day-to-day basis, and sometimes people jump in with their questions to explain what did what it means or whatever. I have to keep jumping, and I don't keep these things in my memory because it's a flow. I remember a lot of things, but I don't remember the details the way I explained on the video. That's why I tend to record things for your reference, also for and I don't go back and watch your videos. I simply cannot do that. My time doesn't permit me to do that. And I have already a lot of work to put a video together, put it up there into the server, and make the link for you so you can see it. So save your questions for your next session. So I think that answers how the sessions look like, and I hope that's been explanatory enough. Thank you.